He was lit, but he wanted to stand on his own. This is a perfect one though.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
Hey,
good morning.
good afternoon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Whatever time you guys are joining us. I'd like to welcome you to Innervision FM Music News. Uh, and as you know, we cover a lot of different topics, sometimes dealing with music, sometimes with entertainment, sometimes political, but it's all good. And if you have any ideas, you can email us at innervision3@msn.com. That's innervision3 at msn.com. Also, want to let you know that you can also support us. You see the hashtag down there for the Cash App, this $ Innervision J or the Venmo Innervision JJ. Or you can buy some of our t-shirts as well you get an Innervision coffee cup or a hoodie or what have you. So that's down there where you can support us as well. But hey, it's been a long time, and we had him on some time ago, and of course, like YouTube is always trying to do stuff, but we're on like 5 different other platforms and on Denver 57 Comcast. So even though they you know try to hold us down, we always find a way around it. So
Conservative media is the future of the media in this country, at least for now. The mainstream media has indeed sort of lost their foothold on purveying the truth and the news in a way that allows for people to be correctly informed.
yeah. All right. We'd like to welcome to the show a very energetic and exciting person, Jimmy Lee Tillman. I'd like to welcome you back.
Hey, Johnny, what's going on, Alan? It's been a
How you
minute,
doing?
man. And
Yeah.
thank you for having me on my first interview since 2025, since I've been slowing down. My
All right.
first interview since Mega took back everything. And if you don't mind, I'd like to give a small plug since it's Black History Month.
Oh, yeah.
Dr.
Hey.
Jimmy Lee Tillman II got a handbook called have a book called Tillman's Handbook on Great Black American Patriots. You can get it at tillmanfamilypress.com or lula.com and or Amazon, anywhere books are sold. It's a history book that discusses all the great things that Black Americans have done. To give you examples, since we're celebrating the 249th year of our great country, let's dig in Phyllis Wheatley, people. Phyllis Wheatley and Crispus Attucks. Let's just deal with these two gentlemen, these two great people for one time.
Absolutely, because we are now reaching our 250th year
Right.
in existence as a country, and boy, I will tell you, well, it's still pretty bumpy, but it was a little bit bumpy right before the election. Wasn't too sure whether we'd have a 250th year, and
Mm. Yeah.
with Donald John Trump actually winning the election, taking the White House and being not only elected by the Electoral College, but winning the popular vote. And then this shakeup that's going on has got everybody freaked out. Department of Education, is it going to go away? What's going to happen? USAID, oh my gosh, all the fraud in that. So we've kind of prepared a few questions dealing with some of that stuff. And
Okay.
so I figure we'll probably just jump right in. Don't
Go
forget
ahead.
to like, share, subscribe, toss a comment down below. That's our bread and butter for the algorithms and that kind of thing. If you find these types of topics that we cover interesting, let us know.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, okay, a week ago, I think it's been a week ago, I was listening to President Trump, and he was talking about like we're number 40 in education, but we spend I think what
Like
$14,000.
14,000 per kid.
Yeah, and it's like this uh, federal education thing has been around since 1940s. It seems like the more it goes on, the more they dumb down, especially like black and brown kids, and then I guess they're trying to catch everybody else in that ring too. So what do you what do you think as far as
well,
what you're concerned?
well, rest in peace, Jimmy Carter. And the
Yeah.
Department of Education was one of Jimmy Carter's thing that he wanted to instill. Now, a lot of good intentions sometimes lead, down the road to bad outcomes. And
Absolutely.
the irony about the Department of Education was Jimmy Carter was trying to alleviate the disparity between black and brown education in America, feeling that maybe if the federal government took hold of the education system, then maybe we all come up. Fast forward a couple of years later, we see what it has. You have a union with an army that feels that they can run the world. You have teachers who feel like preaching instead of teaching. We have lost all sense of what education should be, and we move from identity politics to identity education. And once we start getting away from those things, most people, not to some religious man, but with my faith, but some people believe the Department of Education went down when you took God out of school. And so once you did that in the public school system, a lot of things went out the way. A lot of people said when you stop saying the Pledge of Allegiance and flag things, a lot of things went out the way. So what you have seen is the erosion of American identity in educational system, which allow for these outside forces. Let's just say, for instance, our enemies want to take us over non-violently, because I'm a moderate Republican, I believe in non-violence. Right. The best way would be to destroy the educational system. Now, you can have a generation of people wiped out and not understanding what centimeters or inches is. Let me use this for an example.
Okay.
The COVID strike. Children were set out for school for a year, 2 years, some even 3. No learning, home-based learning. Now, some of those kids graduated high school, went to college. Some of those kids graduated college, not in the workforce. Some of those kids graduated grammar school and went to high school. What you have is 3 years of generational gap of children that does not know anything. Now the education system knows that we have this problem. We can't have these older kids in these classrooms. So what we're going to do? Have to pass them along because we can't have them really here. So what we have now is a generation, black, brown, white, yellow, United States citizens that are being dumbed down. The average American can't even give you 4th grade math. And to survive in America on any factory plant, you at least need 5th grade math.
Absolutely.
The average American can't even write cursive writing or read cursive. Has no signature. That's where we're at now in our educational system. So if we're going to look at it from a point of view that we need to either rid it and send it back to the states, or how people, like I said, in the streets, build and destroy it and build something better with an American agenda on it. Let me give you an example. Gym, quote unquote, gymnastics has nothing to do with playing basketball. It has everything to do with gymnastics. Can I climb a rope? Can I get calisthenics? Can I do push-ups? Can I do cartwheels? Can I get on the rings? Gymnastics. Those things make stronger citizens. Now, all we're doing is playing basketball. I'm saying things like that. You get away from mathematics and science. You get away from music, grammar, and social studies. You tend to start going with how I feel. So these things need to be looked at and seeing if we can start over new, or just turn them back over to the states.
What about school choice programs, charter schools, vouchers, things like that? I know that every single one of these things that you brought up, these are systemic issues. These things can't be fixed with a magic bullet like a voucher or a charter school, but we got to start somewhere. What do you think about that?
Well, I think right now, because I'm a lightweight, I'm advisor to the president. So my this is not me speaking for the president or saying what should happen, but we need to focus on the future. And these children right now, the first, second, and third graders, they are future. And these children right now we should be working on getting them ready for us, getting them ready to take care of us, getting them properly prepared. So what we can do is start over with vouchers, charter, private, parochial, public, by giving a rigorous educational platform for every citizen, especially with the future. We can start over. I'm not saying let's throw the baby out the bathwater, forget our eighth graders and high schoolers, but a lot of them, it's going to take a lot of catching up to do. But with the future, the K through 5 right now, the K through 3, we can start a whole programming and start bringing better, stronger, smarter citizens from that way up. It's going to take a generation to get us back together. 25 years at least.
Yeah. Now Martin Luther King, he talked about like, okay, when he was talking about integration, he was saying like, okay, you may be able to sit at the lunch counter with your wild white counterpart, but if you can't afford to buy the hamburger there, what good is that? So I think education, for the most part, they were training most children to work at a factory, not really to be an entrepreneur or be something other than, there to work in a factory. Do you think that parts of that needs to change, and should it only be changed within the family, or can the school have a
Well,
part
let's
of
look at
part
well,
of that?
people sometimes look at how the educational system was breeding workers. But
Yeah.
if you look at us coming out of the industrial revolution, we needed factory workers to work the field. So once upon a time in our society, the best way to get a job was in a plant, a coal, a factory. So we needed able-bodied people during the turn of the century to be able to work those jobs. Not saying we didn't have no universities, because we had universities also for those people who wanted to perceive other endeavors, other fields of life. If you want to be a doctor, you're going to probably do more than learn fifth grade math. If you want to be a teacher, you're going to probably learn more than fifth grade math. You want to be something more than if you want to be a professional, because once upon a time you had workers, you had professional workers, you had entrepreneurs, you had different levels in our society. And now I'm not saying college is for everybody, because some people feel that I am a great plumber. Why would I need to go get a 4-year institution? How about this? Why do I go to college, take a CPA examination? I'm good out of high school. I can start work right here with what I know. Here in America, it's a knowledge-based society. We get paid off for what we know. It's a hands-based society and what we can do with our hands. So you have two ways to make a living here in America. One with your mind, the other with your hands. And so somewhere along these ways, you got to find that path to either make a living here in this country. Matter of fact, in this world.
One thing also that you mentioned was the idea that, with regard to Black history, with regard to, quote, identity, quote, politics, I guess you might say, here's what we run into. A situation where, a question might be posed. What do you think the best way to, I don't know, help me out here, Johnny. It's question.
Okay. I'm looking at this. The Dr. Carter.
G. Woodson.
Yeah, Wilson. Now, like he didn't get like formal training until it was 20. Something like it may not. Well, for some it may not be too late. For some others, it may be too late. But he thought that it was very important for the Blacks to really know Black history, but it's so distorted from these activists cannot be learned, or do they have to be encouraged by the parents to go outside of the school system, read on their own, and then come back with questions back into the school system?
Well, first of all, I'm old enough, I hate to sound like, because y'all older than me. Right. I'm old enough to remember when it was called Negro History Week.
Yes.
It was just 7 days of Carter G. Woodson trying to promote the positive things that Black had contributed to here in America. As a matter of fact, that's why I wrote my book, Tillman's Handbook on Great Black American Patriots. It was inspired by Carter G. Woodson. And like I said earlier, if you look at Phyllis Wheatley, back in the forming of this country, the great poet laureate, when George Washington was on his last, like, I quit, I can't think about this while we're going on, it was Phyllis Wheatley that wrote letters to George Washington. Even at the time when they say blacks can read, everybody, Phyllis Wheatley wrote letters to George Washington telling him that you can go on. Matter of fact, why was she writing letters? Because everybody know a Black man was shot in the streets, Christmas addicts. This whole country went to war because a Black man lost his blood, shedded blood in the streets. Now, with the erosion of our educational system, they will have you believe that we are a racist country and was found on racism. But if we look deep down to our roots of our system, our country is formed on the blood of a Black man, Christmas addicts. And the strict of words from Phyllis Wheatley to encourage you on. So, in the spirit of College of Woodson, what we do need is proper education taught. Yes, America does have its dirty little secret, which they call slavery, and I cannot disavow that. But there's so much progress, and we've been in lockstep with this country from beginning to where we are right now. We've fought in every war that this country has ever been in, and we helped every war that this country ever been in, and we built this country that we live in to this point on with free labor, with our construction, with our scientific endeavors, with our all of our things. So when we look at Black History Month, you know, that's why I'm going to the White House, because the president is acknowledging Black History Month as Black American History Month, because it's just not for Black people. We're paying acknowledgement to all the great things that Blacks have done to build this country, the generals we had that fought in these wars, the scientists we had that advanced our technology to make us one of the greatest countries that we had. Like you said earlier, college Woodson started at 20 years old when we went to school, but let the people tell you, we was not in college, but Harvard University had Black students in there 1794, 1803. So we got to tell the truth about our history, good side and the bad side.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Once the truth is known, we got a better understanding of where we are at.
And it's got to be adequately taught. You know, because
how about this? Once the white man realized that they was slavery too and on a plantation also, and tell that story that the white man with them also, would they be too ashamed to tell that story too?
Yeah.
Because because there was also white people.
Yes.
If you get a chance, your people, watch Roots. In the last story of Roots, there's a white family by the name of Tom. Now, Tom was a slave, got caught on the plantation, didn't have nowhere to go, what have you, but he had to work for massa. They just put him in the role of an overseer. He had nowhere to go. He had no money. He had nowhere to live. He lived under massa rules too. So if you want to tell the truth, how slavery affected everybody, it affected everybody. Which leads me into what we're working on right now. We're working on, in the spirit of Black History Month, in the spirit of Presidential Day, in the spirit of Abraham Lincoln, we're working on the Emancipation Proclamation 2 Act, which is for the president to sign an Emancipation 2 Act, which will free all felonies from all Americans off their record. All nonviolent felons should have that record cleared. And that's 30% of Black America. That's 15% of white America. That's 8% of brown, 3% of yellow that have done their time and can't get a job, can't go on federal business, can't see their family because they're still, quote unquote, in the system not fully emancipated. So in the spirit of Black History Month, President's Day, we're working on that. And that's one of the things that we're taking to the president this Thursday while we'll be at the White House celebrating.
Tell me about that, because I watched the video of like when they did the celebration 5 years ago. Tell us about how this got set up this year, because if the Bandito Biden had it, I didn't see it, and
Well,
if
hey,
I don't
you
know.
didn't have it, you didn't hear about it, but the Martin Luther King Republic has been working hand in hand with the president in the Lincoln campaign and the American First campaign. If you were to rewind, what would y'all do after we get off the air? Listen to the president inauguration speech. Did you all listen to it? Can y'all
yeah.
Absolutely.
Did it knock you off your feet when he said, we're going to govern this country in the spirit of Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Yep.
The whole brand new day, brand new world. So in the spirit of Martin Luther King, and to stamp down all the doubters, he wanted to show that how Blacks have contributed to this country, how he's not a racist president, he's going to contribute everything in the memory and in the spirit of Martin Luther King, as he said on his inauguration day.
That's interesting because everybody looks up to Martin Luther King. You know, there's some stuff that may or may not come out later about, you know, his quote life, I guess you might say. But the bottom line is,
it comes down to this: if you die for something that you believe in, it really don't care how you live.
That's right. That's right. The bottom line is exactly
right. So if they have to murder you to keep you quiet, why talk about, you know, what you're doing in your private time, how you want to live? If you stick with something and they want to remove you from that, if it's good that you want to work, well, you did this, you did that. You're not gonna talk about him getting his brains blown out for Black Americans. Stand up for right and truth. Which is more important? Him standing on something, dying for something, believing in something, or they had an extramarital affair? You tell me.
So do you figure Black History Month has stayed true to Carter?
No.
Because tell us more about that. Tell us more.
Right now it's too Hollywood. I think that the pundits, the mainstream left wokeness has made it more celebrity-based individualism award. We're not recognizing people like Dr. Ben Carson. We're not recognizing people like Booker T. Washington. We're not acknowledging people like, let me keep it new, Michael Steele. First black RNC president, if you want to keep it brand new, of a party what you said was racist. You know, we can go Charles Drew. Let's go for the real big lie. Dr. Charles Drew, who brought his plasma technique, which saved us in the war, which got us out the war quickly. In the lie, they said because he was in a car accident because of color of skin, they denied him service. When because that hospital worked day and night to get him left because his body was badly mangled. They recognized who he was and recognized the work he did. But here in society, we found a lie that we can use to keep Blacks and whites separated. As a child, that made me mad at white folks thinking that they let this man die.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't save everybody else, and it's a lie.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so the Black community and the blind community have a kind of sort of camaraderie. You know, for thousands of years, the blind are looked down upon, always being told, you'll never be, quote, successful, never be any of this stuff. So with the rise of digital education, how do you see that's going to affect the young members of the Black community, you know, and also for the blind community as well? Because
I'm gonna speak on all Americans. Let me speak on the digital learning. I believe individually, digital learning is great for your independent research, but I believe in learning collectively in a group setting. I feel that it's best to share ideas in a whole, so you cannot be spinning and speaking in a vacuum. Sometimes smelling chalk, smelling that wood, hearing that flowers puts you in a whole different setting. Sometimes hearing other people's opinion might change your opinion. So sometimes digital learning is good individually, but there's nothing like old-fashioned paper and pen, card catalog, book binding, research reading. Sometimes it's not bad to have a library in your house.
Hmm.
Well, I do have to agree with you there, Mr. Tillman, because, being a blind guy, I read Braille, but I find that, obviously for a while, Braille went away in favor of digital tech. I mean, certainly it didn't go away altogether, but 2% of the blind read Braille, which is kind of interesting, but that's kind of an aside. The idea, though, being that,
Oh no, that's not interesting. Hey,
what's that?
I'm going to tell the president that. I'm going to tell the president that. Hold on. I'm about to tell Trump that the blind community really needs more Braille than the audio digital because it's really hard for them to walk around finding the. Yes, hold on. Let me
With
hear
the
more.
advent, with the
No, no, let me hear more.
Yeah, because there's only 10% of us that read Braille. Me and Alan, we're one of them. And if it was only 10% of sighted people that read printed material, it would be an outrage. But yet they're trying to get closer and closer to that, where 10% only 60% of the children, they go out of school and they can't read and write. And then when they get on the job, they feel like they're being discriminated because the employer has to go back and teach these employees how to write this right, how to, and it's almost
Well,
like, why should they be doing that stuff when they hired them for a job and they're straight out of college or something?
another
as of
interesting
today,
statistic
hold on.
also.
I'm not speaking on we're going to go back to the education system with the young children. But
Right.
as soon as I got the interview, I was writing a little newsletter and probably a letter to the president. And I'm going to include that I just did a little interview with my blind community that I love the most. And they're saying that 10% of the blind population still reads Braille, and it's difficult to find material in Braille.
And they're not teaching.
They're not
Well, it's
teaching it.
not so much that it's difficult to
They're
find
not
it
teaching
in
it.
Braille. It's just that the folks aren't being taught the Braille necessary so that they can be productive members of society. Now, of course, there
Okay.
is a 70 to 90% unemployment rate within the blind community, has to be addressed, must be addressed. 10 million votes are on the table for President Trump. If he were to reduce that unemployment figure from 70 to 90% through some of his government initiatives and policies, but certainly we just want to be, what do you call it, independent. We don't want to sit on the government's dole and wait for the government to take care of us. And with the advent of AI and digital technology, honestly believe doesn't matter who you are, we're all Americans again. There's no more of this Black Americans, white Americans, blind Americans, deaf Americans. We're all Americans again.
Right. All Americans again, because Mega has no color. And this election proved by the multicultural age range, diversity of this election showed you that we all Americans. One thing I like to say about the American First policy and why it worked for Black Americans, because Black Americans are Americans, and finally a policy that worked for all Americans.
So I do want to respect your time.
We've
We've got about 3 questions. Do you still have a little bit more time?
Go ahead.
Yeah. Wait, I want to talk about, okay, Alveda, she talked about these opportunity zones. Do they still exist? And how do you see that helping like the community?
Interesting you said that. I was talking to a college friend of mine. Her name is Colina. She's from the Dayton, Ohio area, a Democrat.
Yeah.
And she was really tripping on me being down with Trump. Now,
Right.
after Trump won, she came to me with something that my president was working on with some Republicans. What's Leo's name, Ebony?
Terrell.
Leo Terrell, with some HBCU things. And she came to me and said, Jimmy, I really don't vote Republican, but the opportunity zones here in Dayton are really working. And a lot of people are prospering off this empowerment zone. Now, that was the first time, honestly, I heard that, and that was 2 months ago, because I never really looked at the research about it, see who anybody participated in it. Here in the blue state, people didn't want to deal with it because it's Trump. Ohio being like a red, purple state, a lot of people took advantage of it. So would you need what I could do next time I come here, probably get your numbers to see how it worked in Dayton, how many people prospered of it, because that's something I'm going to do, research that so I can be able to have some research, take to the president and say this worked here and that worked there, and how we should continue it on. Things like that. That's what the Urban Affairs Office is doing.
So some argue,
but he gets it for us. Try and get it. Come on, Prez.
Some argue that Black Americans prospered greater under America First policies than under previous administrations. What do you think about that? Do you agree or?
Wholeheartedly agree.
Yep.
At one time, blacks, our unemployment numbers was as low as in slavery.
Yeah.
Slavery.
It was insane.
We had black college funding. We had opportunity zones. We had criminal justice reform, crack cocaine disparity.
Yeah.
We got people came home from the Joe Biden. We got reduced sentences and time served for everybody that got caught up in the Joe Biden crime conspiracy. But people didn't pay attention. Bad police officers went to jail during that time. First time in history. It might not be bragged about, even though I'm a back to blue person, and people don't know the black community don't hate all police. They just hate bad police. And at the time, look at that, a lot of police officers that was harming individuals paid the price at that time. Life was good for the black person. You had better jobs. And with Trump immigration policies, by his last deportation, by the increase in wages that happened in the previous administration, blacks was able to increase their money. So of course, and that's why we're looking great this time coming around. You see, and that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of one more movement, one more gain for our community, and it's over for the Democratic Party. And finally,
hey,
especially when let's
talk about okay, you see what's going on with Eric Adams, but then you see Johnson down there in Chicago doing what he's doing. Our mayor Johnston providing for all these illegals, letting these criminals just run amok, and now some communities are starting to be cleared of these criminals, and because they're mostly placed in black and brown areas. How do you see like people like Eric Adams changing his note, but Johnston down in Chicago still not changing his note? Do you think that that's gonna last
here in town?
Well, here's the full disclosure. People in my family rocked with Johnson. I've offered choice rock with Lori Lightfoot, not because I agree with Lori Lightfoot policy, but I figured she's a former prosecutor, and if Trump got back in office, her prosecution thing would have kicked in just for that. Now, no, Brandon Johnson ain't gonna flip because he got a Jimmy Lee problem. A lot of people are telling Brandon Johnson that I'm gonna run against him for mayor. Have no interest in running, Brandon. Right now, I'm working on making America great.
That's right.
People actually run for Senate. I'm working right now, all my resources, giving it all to Trump to make these policies for all America great. So he's walked right here stumping like he Mr. Big Man because he knows this. Funny story. We got Rahm in here. Why Rahm in here? Because blacks leaving the plantation in the Democratic Party. Now, I was in Detroit during this election, but there's a lot of people in Chicago trying to flip it red. I'm getting the blame for it because I flipped Detroit red. Chicago really didn't flip red, but a lot of people didn't vote. So they're attributing that to the Martin Luther King stay-at-home policy, which went nationwide. We told everybody, you can't vote for Trump, stay at home. That's why I was low voter turnout in the black community. It's not talked about, but we went out there and did something that is unheard of in the black community, we told black people that you have the right not to vote. But yes, you have the right to vote and the right not to vote. You do have that right. I'm told, don't let nobody guilt you in making you. You have the right to stay home or a right to go out. You won't go to jail. So, with that being said, in the atmosphere that was given Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and people with economic pockets, they stayed home. So, with Brandon Johnson here in Chicago, it's a stop Tillman.
Yeah.
Republican, you got the never Trumpers who back Nikki Haley, Kamala Harris, Republicans, Kamala Harris, Nikki Haley. You know the type that they want Trump in. And then you got the Democrats who are going to put a lot of money in making sure Chicago don't flip red. So Brandon went around here feeling that he got it in the bag. Rahm Emanuel, he's telling him he got it in the bag. We was trying to pardon Jesse Jackson Jr., hoping his brother flipped red because they didn't pardon Jesse Jackson Jr. They left his daddy stanking. So the GOP was going to pardon him, hope that he might appreciate it. But him being, not in his right frame of mind, is just jibber jabbing all over the place, knowing that a pardon might be near. So Adams realized this. Trump's the man. And if I get a pardon and I run again, I'm going to win. This woke stuff ain't going on it. People do not. Men love their children.
Yeah.
Yes.
Men love their daughters. Men love their sons. Nobody wants nobody playing with their children. Adams went to New York. That's why Trump came strong in New York. That's why Trump did better than any president. People want to say it was an economic deal. No. It was a spiritual movement where blacks and whites and brown, all colors of America came together where the grace of God saved Trump from being assassinated because people want to save the future of their children, their grandchildren, their educational system, their mental system, their health system. They want to save their children. This is why he was elected, and this is why he's going to go down in history as one of the greatest presidents of all time, because we all know what's wrong. We saw it, Joe Biden. It's all been exposed. We just want it cleaned up now. We saw the mess. People heard about the mess when Trump was in office. They saw the mess when Joe Biden is in office. Now they want you to get rid of this mess. Now Trump's in office. The mess has been exposed.
So when we, as we reflect on the Black History Month and everything that it has done, and what do you think? What do you think about the education system as it stands? We talked a little bit about starting over, just scrapping the thing and reforming it. Parents and students need to be really involved in that if we're going to do that, because best way to do that is to get your community involved. One of the biggest things that one of the biggest mistakes is passing it on over to an elected official, government person that says, "Oh, okay, we'll get this for you." And look, we're number 40 in education all around the world. I mean, all these folks, man, they all speak different languages. We, by and large, as Americans, we speak one. So how can we, well, the question is, how can we as Black students, parents, teachers, how can we go ahead and do the reformation needed in the education system?
Let me add one more thing on that. Okay. I found out that in Chicago, there was a lot of Black teachers. And then step by step, they started deleting the Black teachers and filling out with like liberals, these liberals and all that kind of stuff. Is there like a turn to flip that back around? Because students seeing another a Black teacher up there in front of the classroom will be even more of a positive reinforcement than the way they've been doing it for the last few years, like getting Black teachers out of school.
That will help out tremendously, but it all will depend on the system of education that black man has to teach. How many black men will feel comfortable teaching little boys masturbation? How many black men feel comfortable teaching little girls masturbation, or it's okay to cut your breast out? How many black men feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, I know. I would think zero.
Right. How many men, unless there's something wrong with you,
Yeah.
Mm.
unless there's something wrong with you. So any male teaching the education system is kind of strange because of what they're teaching. So what we need is an American first educational policy. Now,
Mm.
that's coming up. Our policies geared to educating America, making America the best, strongest, the best mentally, physically, emotionally, especially emotionally. And that's the only way we're going to be a stronger society, by doing those three things. And only with an American first agenda will that be able to happen. With the American first school agenda, will that happen? And I'm quite sure Linda McMahon, right? Linda McMahon's got that in plan.
Mm. Now,
Yeah.
I want our audience to know more about the organization that you have. Remember, everybody like, share. You can donate as well. The Cash App, Innervision J or Innervision JJ. Tell us about the organization that you started. Tell us a bit more about that, and then about your book and how people can get in touch
So
with you.
thank you, because you know I'm going to book it every now and then. Let me work it backwards. Let me work it backwards, right?
Yeah.
Because it's back to money. You can go to lulu.com for Tillman's Handbook on Great Black American Patriots. The president has a copy of the book. Ben
Oh, yeah?
Carson has a copy of the book. So everybody in DC has a copy of the book. And dig this, it's a bestseller. My first book out there.
Hey,
I'm a
congratulations.
bestseller. I feel great about that. You go
Oh,
to
yeah.
lulu.com or Amazon. I say Lulu because I get the most money. Move that out the way. Um,
Spell that for me, would you?
right.
LULU.com.
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 Okay.
Tillman's Handbook on Great Black American Patriots.
Wow.
Dr. Jimmy Lee Tillman II,
Uh-huh.
publisher, author, strategist, father, friend, and a friend of the show.
And
That's
soon
who I
to
am.
be the next mayor of Chicago.
I'm right now, I'm making America. My whole thing is right now making America great, bringing all the ideas as president, helping him make this country great, because I believe in this country, I believe in this president, and I'm all in 10 toes. First time, my name on the line. This got to go clean. My name on the line. I'm going hard, and I'm getting burnt a lot, and people don't know I'm getting burnt for them. I don't get burnt for them. I'm going out. But you can go to MartinLutherKingRepublicans.com to find anything about our organizations. You can sign up for our newsletter, The Vanguard, which you can find out everything that we've been doing. We have a lot of videos on there. So for my blind people, you get videos and all, you can always listen to our videos. And you got I guess you can press that little read along thing, but we do get music videos. We do get music videos, and most of our videos that we play go to the theme of the message of the news that we got going on. So have to read it, go through that. It's great. The president, everybody signs up to it. We got about over 250,000 people subscribing right now. Every 387,000. Everybody all across America get it. Everybody in the news media gets it. Everybody who is somebody, politicians, actors, even Bill Cosby. Thank you, Bill Cosby, for signing up. You're right. Okay. Everybody who's somebody gets it, and it's a center left, center right newsletter, and it's not ultra left, it's not ultra right, because what people don't realize, Mega is the center left, center right organization. It's straight down the middle.
Yeah.
Right. If you on the left leaning, you hear we stand in the middle, you can come over here. If you're over there and right, never Trumper, you hear we stand in the middle, you can come over here. Right. It has policies for all. Right. And so that's why I'm sitting there working on that to get that through. I've been doing this for about a minute. And right now, I finally got the fruits of my labor. I've been saying it's been Jimmy Lee to DC for about a decade. Now Jimmy Lee to DC, and now Jimmy Lee about to be in DC, helping the president in DC, making America great again. And that's what's really happening. And I'm glad to be on this programming to push my book, Tillman's Handbook on Great Black American Patriots at lula.com. Bestseller. Hold up.
Give my phone number, they can call.
And you want to call, the organ numbers you can call 773-495-0832. And we can set your orders from that point on. Make it happen. I'm been leaning down because you can't see it. I got the official Make America Great hat again. It's a victory hat. We was down at the inauguration. We had a great time. For your listeners, go back and listen to the inauguration speech. It was very showing what the things America is. King is not God. Trump is not God. These are images of America. These are images of people in America who had a dream for what this country should be about. And if you strive for this country, it's not no better way to govern it with blacks and whites sitting down together. I'm going to judge you by your character, not by what you are. Show me what you can do. What do you know? What can you do with your mind? What can you do with your hands? This is what this country is all about. And if you're the best worker, I got the best worker. It's all about the best. Matter of fact, it's so messed up all about the best. I bet ain't nobody going to no white doctor hit the Chinese. Ain't that about something? Hey, I'll go there. Let's keep 100.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm looking forward to you being a part of the Trump train, the Make America Great Again.
Maybe your orders can help me. You can text Dr. Tillman for Director of Urban Affairs at 88022. Yeah, for me. See, we're playing the Apprentice here, and I hope I got it. But I'm trying to get all American. Be like, Jimmy's your guy. He's down with you. You need Tillman in office if you want to win. Put Tillman.
Amen, bro. Well, you definitely got the enthusiasm for it. Well, thank you for joining us in the Innervision FM universe. We want to really just give you, the audience, the opportunity to go ahead and comment. Tell us what you think, because Jimmy Lee Tillman's a good friend of Innervision FM, and we want to have him on here in the future. And
don't forget to watch the Thursday afternoon with him and others at the White House celebrating Black History.
We're gonna be on TV getting in. We're gonna be getting in because Black History must not cancel. Don't let the media fool you. The transcendental president. We are in the best time of our lives right now. It's a good time to be alive and to witness all the great things that are about to transpire right here in America. America is back, and I feel great to be a part of it. Before we go, I want to give a shout out to my grandson, Joel, just 9 years old. He heard I was going to the White House, and he said, can he go? I said, you got school, but we going to the Easter egg hunt, and if I get a big signing, I'll make sure you go there. But he told me this with my mom. So he said, well, Granddaddy, when you get to Trump, could you ask him to take care of Ukraine, because it's not fair what's going on there. I'm like, you know about Ukraine? With my mind, yeah, because we got watch. Then he threw at me. We got to watch what's going on in South Korea, because it's falling apart. But Kim Jong-il, you know about Kim Jong-il? I said, well, listen, son, I'm not going to ask him these questions. I want you to ask the president the question, because my grandson is super bad. He said, no, I've been paying attention because you've been paying attention, and we got to watch China. They're everywhere. I'm like, that's it. To me, that's the future. I was fighting for my grandson's future, and with this president in hand, and he loves the president, and this is me in my grandson's mind. He's in Atlanta. I'm in Chicago. I talk to him once a month, and I don't tell him what I do. It's just, hey, grandson, what's brand new? My mind.
Come up with that.
I did it for him. God loves the babies and us fools, and God, that's all about. God loves babies and fools, and I'm blessed, and that's why my grandson get a chance to meet the president. If not for the Easter egg hunt, just to ask him, what you gonna do for Ukraine? Because I want to see what the president gonna tell my son. My grandson. He's smart now. So he got questions. Not woke questions, a general questions that a 9-year-old I'm like, maybe other 9-year-olds might want to know. I don't know. And if this the educational system in Atlanta, shots out to the Atlanta public school system or school system. Because if my 9-year-old is paying attention to world affairs and can spot all these places on the map, our country can be great if all schools can produce what they produce in my grandson.
Amen.
He ain't paying for it now.
Hey, amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hey, we'd like to thank you for joining us today. And remember, leave those comments down there and like, share this show. Share with so because everybody, you might think, even if you think your friend already know about Jimmy Lee Tillman, share the show.
Yeah, it's important, man. This guy's a bestseller, so
Bestseller.
gonna get this guy's book up to #1.
Thank you.
Even further than number one. Hey,
Yeah. Let's break the ceiling. Let's break the ceiling.
Let's break
All
that
right.
down.
Guys, man. God
All
bless
right.
America. God bless you all. You know, love life and longevity.
All
God
right.
bless.